This episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Pendleton Ammunition. Hunting ammunition for your rifle, hand-loaded, one round at a time.
Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting season of Steve's Outdoor Adventures. And we've got some exciting hunts that we're going to share with you this year. But to start this season off, I needed to do something a little bit different. I had 3 new camera guys on our team this year that had never filmed hunting before. And I needed to take them on a low stress, high animal count, fun elk hunt where we could train them up on how to film hunting in the field. And there was no better way to do this than to start here in my home state of Oregon, where I haven't killed an elk in like 25 to 27 years. And I wanted to do a hunt for cow elk, a freezer filler, a grocery run. Why? Because A, my freezer was getting a little empty, but B, I love hunting elk. I don't have to have a 6-point rack on everything that I hunt. And just the sheer fun of getting in the field with a good friend of mine who guides our clients here in Northeast Oregon and spending some time together hunting elk in one of the most beautiful settings anywhere in the Western United States was just the perfect way for me to start this season. All right, so we're going on a cow elk hunt. Now, I want to be as precise as possible with this shot. I want to put that bullet in behind the shoulder. I'm not going for some fancy TV drop shot. I really want to stay off of any of the vital meat, but not the vital organs. I want those front shoulders, and this is a grocery run hunt. I want to make sure that I don't lose any meat, so I'm going behind the shoulder. I want to be dialed in tight and right, but I also want to use enough horsepower that I'm going to kill that elk quickly and efficiently. And one of the most accurate rifles that I've ever shot is the Bergara MG Light. This is a Premier Series gun with the Cure carbon barrels. We've got the suppressor on the gun. It's the Adventure Hunter from GPM that tames the sound and the recoil. But this rifle has been better than half minute of angle as long as we've owned it, and it's one of our favorites. So one thing I did do, because I'm hunting in Oregon, I took my Eliminator laser scope off and I've put the new 4-20 Burris Veracity PH scope on it. It's legal in Oregon. It does not have a built-in laser rangefinder, but it does have a clickless digital turret. So I don't have to look up and watch my turret for the yardage as I spin. I can actually see the distance in the top of the scope readout as to what distance I'm dialed into, and then I just need to set my parallax and send it. That said, I'm gonna be trying to get within 150 yards of any elk that I shoot, if at all possible, and make sure that I make a perfect shot placement and I put that cow down quickly, efficiently, and with no loss of meat. So I'm gonna sit down and check my zero, because tonight when we go in the field and start looking for those elk, I wanna be dialed in tight and right. All right, so I'm gonna be shooting the Pendleton Ammunition, of course. This is a load development that we did in this particular rifle. And I'm shooting the 180 grain Barnes tip triple shocks, little blue tips. And this is one of my favorite bullets. It's always been lethal and accurate. And the terminal performance of the all copper bullet with the tip on it has been second to none. I'm gonna put a round in, get my hearing protection on. Even though I'm shooting with a suppressor, I'm wearing hearing protection. And let's put this round down range and see if I'm still zeroed in. Right underneath the bullseye. Just a little bit low, not bad. All right, let's fire number 2. Right next to the other one. All right, and a third one. All right, now I've verified my zero to 100 yards, and we're certainly not letting it cool. So one of the benefits of the Cure carbon barrel is the mesh weave that draws the heat away from the barrel. It is the perfect carbon barrel, because carbon is usually an insulator. It'll let your barrel cook if you shoot too quickly and run that temperature up. With the Cure carbon, you don't get hot as easily. I've set the turret. It's great. It's a clickless turret. It's digital. I'm looking through the scope. It says 100. I'm watching the readout, 140, 150. Got a nice built-in digital level and sending. Oh yeah, right in the middle of the plate. Smoked it. I'm definitely ready to go into the field tonight. We're going to a ranch that has a lot of elk, and this is a rifle that I've spent a lot of time with at the range and hunting with it. In both the 6.5 PRC and 300 Win Mag calibers, I'm really confident in these MG Light Premier Series rifles, especially with that Cure carbon barrel. They're extremely accurate, They deliver a lot of energy downrange, especially in that 300 Win Mag. I love the tip triple shock bullets. This is a rifle package that we offer at the Adventure Armory in multiple calibers. And I gotta tell you, I'm super impressed with the new Burris Veracity PH scope. The 4-20 magnification is perfect for hunting. And if we're lucky, we'll be quartering out some game and taking it into the meat processor tomorrow morning. But for now, I gotta get my equipment put together and ready to go in the field.
Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Bergara Rifles, featuring the new Pure Carbon barrels and a sub-MOA guarantee. Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Burris Optics and the new Burris Veracity PH rifle scope.
The whole 15-minute drive felt like it took me 2 hours.
Smell, man. What you doing, buddy?
Smell around?
Oh, yeah. Cool. Yes, sir. Okay.
We just met up with Steven. We're gonna hustle out and get an evening hunt in tonight. Got my rifle, got my shooting rest, backpack. We're ready to go, man. Let's hit it. Clock's ticking. So going out tonight, you said we're not going that far from camp, just 10 or 15 minutes away.
No, the way these elk go, they hit the first timber this time of year, which is about 3.5 miles from where they're feeding down in the bottoms in the alfalfa. That's a big deal with this tag right now. It's kind of like a deprivation that you can buy over the counter. They do a lot of damage to ag land. So the farmers got together with ODF&W and kind of got this tag allotted like 3 years ago. I think this is the 3rd season.
Yeah, I think it is. We're gonna walk up here to the top of the hill and start glassing. These elk have been coming off the top in the timber and feeding down to the alfalfa fields. We should be out in front of them, let them come to us. Let's do it. Underneath the pine tree to your left. Or no, straight ahead, straight up the pine, the light side of the pine. There's a spike down there in the bottom. Down, 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 down. You see him? Yeah. We can see a spike and a cow. We know there's more of them down there. They're right in the bottom of the straw. We're having trouble seeing them. We see his velvet spikes sticking up from time to time. But they're coming up just like Steven said they were going to. Come and wrap the straw. They got to go about 2 miles that way or more to get to the alfalfa fields. Hopefully they'll start popping out. We can see them real good. We're running out of daylight here tonight, and the elk just aren't moving out of here. We think the majority of them are all the way back at the fields already. So we're gonna clear our breach, get safe, then we're gonna sneak out of here, come back in the morning. Steven knows this place like the back of his hand. He's been hunting it for 25 years. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll get on these elk, for sure. We're getting a little bit of dinner cooking here. Steven's got a nice big grill here for camp. Brought up some steaks. We had to break them out because the elk didn't cooperate. Otherwise we'd be eating fresh tenderloins later. So one of the great things about this particular hunt is it's the first one of the fall season. It's early, it's low stress, antlerless elk hunt. There's lots of elk out on the landscape, have lots of opportunities to go out and film. And the reason that's important is I've got 3 new camera operators with me tonight. We are dealing with a situation where these guys have never filmed elk hunts and mule deer hunts and moose hunts and stuff like that before. So we need to start training, and it's some are just being like tech savvy with the cameras. I mean, these guys are extremely skilled with the cameras. They know what they're doing and how to run them, but to go from filming, let's say, reality TV or filming documentaries and stepping into the field and actually filming like a big game hunt, 2 totally different worlds. So we're working on camera operator positioning, who's filming what, who's on the animals, who's running what cameras, basically who's in the right position at the right time. We did a lot of that tonight, and I felt really good about how we were set up and situated. Had some elk come out and cooperated. I think we would have got it done. Tomorrow morning, we'll continue that learning path, and hopefully before we get into the big bull hunts up in British Columbia, Colorado, and Oregon, we're gonna have some guys that have got a little bit of field time and experience going on.
This segment of Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Green Mountain Grills, the pellet grill for every home and every adventure. Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by the Far Wide app, putting outdoor intelligence in the palm of your hand.
Just before 5 a.m. It's the official first early morning wake up of elk season this year. I'm pumped. We just started glassing. There's a couple hundred head elk minimum on the other side of the interstate. Great big herd. We got 2 bulls that just came up underneath us here. They're in the sagebrush about 200 yards below us now, but they were within bow range for a second. They just startled us. We're gonna keep working our way out here a little bit. Glass, there should be elk coming out of all these alfalfa fields. All the elk are now off of what we can see on the bottom. They're all headed for the sage. They look like they're gonna line off right here in front of us.
As these elk made their way up out of the fields, the majority of them were off to our west. You know, they were way out of gun range, and honestly, there were so many sets of eyes, I didn't want to make a move over there and potentially blow them out, because we knew where they were gonna be for the evening hunt. But then this little group of elk came straight at us around the base of the hill, and we got set up on them. I could have easily filled my elk tag here, but to be honest with you, I just couldn't tell which one of these elk was the cow that had the calf and which one was the dry cow. I decided to let them go.
We gotta keep our profiles low on this skyline. There's a lot of elk below us popping up. They pop out of the sagebrush and see a skyline. Trouble. Right now we have the wind in our face. If those thermals flip and start blowing down, we're in trouble. Elk see better than anything. They smell better than anything. They're tremendous athletes. If we bust these elk, they're gonna be 3-4 miles away in minutes. We're gonna have to be real patient. Keep our profiles low. Let this herd come out of the fields, come across the sagebrush and into one of our interception paths here. We're looking for a big, lone, dry cow. I've got an antlerless elk tag. This is the grocery run. I'm gonna fill the freezer, but I don't wanna shoot the wrong elk. We'll try and find the right elk. Old, mature cow. Freezer filler. I don't want to shoot a cow at 700 or 800 yards. I want to get 100, 200 yards away and make a perfect shot. Not waste any meat. Kill her clean and ethically. That's why you stay patient and hang tight. You can't see, you know, there's elk scattered all across this landscape. Right here in front of us. If we'd have gone over there and hopped over the ridge, we'd have blown them out for sure. Stay patient, stay here, let them come to us.
Stephen and I left the herd of elk as they were bedded down in the sagebrush, and we headed in for the afternoon. We knew where they were, and if the forecast wind direction was correct, we had a plan for the evening hunt. Sure enough, as we rolled out for the evening hunt and opened the gate, I could feel the stiff breeze blowing out of the west, and we knew that the conditions were right to make a hunt on the big herd of elk.
Stephen was right. These elk never left that bench today. They bedded out there. They're standing up to feed now, but the wind has picked up. It's blowing from my right to left. The elk are out there. We're gonna go down, try and cut the distance down, get the wind in our favor. Everything's about the wind. We gotta get in our favor so they don't smell us, but there's a lot of eyes to beat out there. We're gonna have to stay low, go slow, and we have to get a whole lot closer.
There's still a lot right there. Then there's just
past those 4 trees that are coming
We've cut it in half the distance. Gotta stay low now, get low. There's so many elk out there. There's 100 sets of eyes that we have to beat to get a shot. This big wind is gonna save us. It's gonna save us big time.
This segment is sponsored by Adventure Armory. Rifle, scope, and ammunition packages shipped, ready to shoot. Steve's Outdoor Adventures is sponsored by Pendleton Ammunition and their line of hand-loaded Performance TSS turkey loads. If you would like to book this hunt or any other hunting or fishing adventure, give our office a call. We will gladly take your calls, answer your questions, and help you book the adventure of a lifetime. Pulling off a stalk on 200 head of elk scattered across the sagebrush flat with little to no cover to work with that was over 30 inches high was a challenge. But doing the stalk with 3 rookie camera operators who had never been on a hunt before, and a guide, and my extra large self was going to be near impossible. But we're always up for a challenge.
All right, she's face on, head down. Send it.
Flipped over.
Oh, did she?
Yep.
All right, right on. Nothing but lung butter. Don't get to have stalks like that very often.
No.
Belly crawling, sagebrush, the full experience. The grocery run ain't over till it gets cut, wrapped in the freezer.
Yep.
It's a fun elk hunt. Anybody can enjoy this hunt. There's obviously 1 or 2 elk running around on the hill. My freezer gets full, all my friends, staff, everybody gets wild game meat, and that's what this hunt was all about for me. Yeah, once we get the hide off and get it quartered out and ready to go, we'll load it in the truck, and then tomorrow morning, I'm gonna drop it off at a local processor that Steven's made an arrangement with to process all the elk that they take care of the operation. It'd be nice to get it cut, wrapped, frozen, and in the freezers. You know, this is the end result, you know. We come out, we do the hunt, we get the animal. We're blessed to be able to bring it out whole and not have to quarter it up and bone it out and all the other hard stuff that usually comes with a good, elk hunt. Now we're gonna take a whole carcass into the butcher to be cut and wrapped and taken care of. I wish I had the skill set and the time to butcher my own meat. I think that's a skill set I'd like to have someday, but to be able to fill some freezers and take all this wild game meat every year, it's definitely a blessing. So, heck of an adventure. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you got 6-point rack on them or it's a cow elk. Elk hunting's elk hunting, and elk hunting's one of my favorite times of the year. All right, last week I dropped my elk off here at Billy Bob's to get cut and wrapped. I'm ready to put it in the freezer, but I want to share with you what goes into actually cutting, wrapping, and producing an elk so it's ready to go to the table. Hi, this is Billy Bob, trying to hide from me. So they about ready?
Yeah.
Cool, let's go look. Professional crew like yours, start to finish on an elk, average size elk. How much time?
25 minutes.
25 minutes. It'd take me like 3 nights after work, 2 cases of beer, and about a half dozen friends. I think these guys make quick work of an elk.
Yeah.
Steaks, roast, burger. A lot of this is going to go to burger. because we have a lot of folks that are in our field, our Hunters Helping the Hungry program. So we make sure that we get a lot of burger out of a lot of our elk. Thank you. This is one of the most efficient places I've ever been. I mean, we're watching burger come out in 1 pound packages. We've got trays of shredded burger down here. I mean, it's amazing how quickly it goes from a whole animal to just little bits and pieces ready for the freezer. Perfect package of meat, ready for the freezer. All right, so they've got the bulk of it all cut up. Now the steaks, like the back straps, the tenderloins, all the best cuts now are going in here, and they're gonna put them on the machine that actually shrink wraps. So now one of the things I noticed last time I was here was how durable this plastic is. I couldn't push my finger through it, and they're telling me that sometimes like sharp bones don't even puncture through this plastic wrap. Well, as you can see, there's no shortage of elk here in Northeast Oregon, especially on these private ranches that are in the depredation program. These are properties that have hundreds of elk in resident population, and we have a need to reduce their populations and kill a bunch of these cows. And that's why we offer these fully guided and outfitted cow elk hunts, as well as the later season trophy bull hunts. These are all very limited numbers, and we do offer them at Steve's Outdoor Adventures. In fact, if you'd like to book one of these cow elk hunts or the bull hunt for yourself, give our office a call. We're always available to take your calls, answer your questions, and help you book the hunting or fishing adventure of a lifetime. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week's show, but please remember to join us again next week when we bring you another exciting episode of Steve's Outdoor Adventures. If you enjoyed this video, please click like and subscribe to tune in for more Steve's Outdoor Adventures right here on YouTube.